Hi, I'm Mark Wheat, evening show host on The Current, and I'm really glad to be doing another virtual session here on our Facebook page. Sorry for the technical delay, and I'm hoping that we're going to be joined by two members of a band who've got a brand new album out today. Yes, it's coming out, even though none of us can go out. And appropriately enough, it's called Hurry Up and Wait. Soul Asylum's new album officially out today. We have Mr. Dave Pirner and Mr. Ryan Smith from the band. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. It's great to be anywhere, really.
Well,
We're
tell
hiding
us
out in the
where you
basement,
are.
pretty much. Staying away
But you
from
are,
people.
but you are back in
He's
the
a little
team
too
speak.
close to me right now, so we're going to distance a little bit.
There we go.
I know. Don't break any rules, but that's what rock and roll is all about. So let's get some rock and roll. Let's play a track that I've been saying on the radio, guys, that some songs have been kind of changing. Their meaning's been changing, even if they're old. In the situation we're in, the meanings change. And this is one of those songs, I think, off your Grave Dancers Union album of 92. Let's play New World for the people, right?
I do. I want to go. Lives in a little lonely town. No one's around except for the drinking. Nobody ever gets around but those who leave the township sinking. Maybe heart in heaven. Gotta be home by 7. Still burns away. The sky breathes it in. So why sit and wait for the new world to begin? I'm coming out across your border with new orders for you to take. I'd really like to take out your daughter down by the water, down by the lake. When the cold water's on her skin, I can feel how long it's been. And the neighbors will all be there. No one will know what to wear. So why sit and wait for the new world to begin? I got a lot I gotta do just to get through the end of the day. It hardly ever even happens, but I go to sleep the same anyway. Can't believe in yourself. You can't believe in anyone else. So why sit and wait for the new world
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Nice. All right. Well, we
I'm
on
glad you
the
like that
current
one.
have we've been getting ready for the big new album release by playing another brand new song off it called "If I Told You." So, do you think you guys could give us a version of that, and then we'll have a little chat?
Yeah, and we're pretty. Well, we just want to thank y'all for playing our new tunes on your radio station. We do appreciate that. It's kind of nice. Anyways, yeah. How's this one go? 1, 2, 3, 4. If I ask for forgiveness, does it mean that I did it? Is it really that bad? Am I that hard to live with? If I told you I loved you, you hold it against me. If I told you I loved you, would you hold it against me? 'Cause I've seen every shade of gray, and I can't wait another day for summer to come. Oh, I miss the sun. It's something that I'm trying to overcome. I walk to the corner. Would you put up a red light? Would you hold it against me if it didn't work out right? Please don't make me say it. I would never regret it. If I told you I loved you, would you let me forget it? 'Cause I've seen every shade of gray. The clouds just seem to come my way. Come rain or come shine. Oh, I miss the sun. Every day is someday will come. Don't you know that I miss the sun? Lying wait for summer to come. I know that you're busy. Don't hold it against me. If I told you I love you, would you hold it against me? Oh, I miss the sun. Every day is someday to come. Don't you know that I miss the sun? Oh, I miss the sun. I told you I loved you. Would you hold it against me? Okay.
If I
Music
told
kind
you.
of hanging in the air.
From Hurry Up and Wait, the brand new Soul Asylum album that's out today. Dave, did you have any qualms about releasing the new album today? I know there's been kind of different reactions from people in the business holding things up.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should ask, Mark, because somebody asked me about it the other day. Eddie Trunk, you know this guy? And
No.
he's like, do you realize that you're putting out a record during a pandemic? And I was like, well, we hadn't really thought about any alternatives because we were already kind of selling pre-orders and stuff. So it never
Right.
occurred to me that we could push the release date back. And when would we push it back? Like we got canceled, our tour got canceled in San Diego and they rescheduled it for October. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
I
one
know.
one part of it says, "Oh, people are at home and they need some new music." The other part of it is
Yeah.
like me and Ryan are supposed to be in LA right now, shucking and jiving to promote our record. You know?
I was going to say, you actually know where you should be on your old schedule. That's great.
Yeah. Now I'm in a
Well,
basement in Minneapolis.
I know. Well, to be honest, it's great to have you back in the Twin Cities as a renowned member of our music community, and you were away for a while. I was going to say, does the "I Miss the Sun" in that song that you just did, does that reference New Orleans? Is it kind of like is that too easy of a weather reference for that song? That's
It's
where
a
you used
pretty
to live there.
easy weather reference, mostly because my people, my whoever they are, the people from New Orleans that come up, they do the same thing that everybody else does, which maybe you did once or twice, Mark. You said, "Why do people live here? It's
Yeah,
just cold and miserable, and it's great."
yeah.
So my ex-wife, part of the reason
Hmm.
why she's my ex-wife is she would come up here and go, "I don't understand it. The sun never shines." Like she would really start jonesing for a little bit of sunshine, which if
Right.
you're born here, you're kind of used to it,
Yeah.
especially if you're born in St. Paul where the sun really never shines. That's a little cheap shot.
Only, I know, only in our studios, Dave. Um, and I get the impression from having seen you guys use for so long perform that the sun for you is performing, that you'd really like to be out there with these new songs, with this new band. I got the chance to see you guys down in Rochester the end of the fall, and you sounded awesome. You've got Michael Bland on drums, who people might know from his work with Prince and others, and he's astounding.
He's the
And
best
Ryan,
drummer in the world, just in case anyone wants to know my opinion. There ain't
well,
nobody
it's great
better.
to hear you say that. And he's a
And you're
sweet,
only as
sweet
good as
guy.
your drummer, which means we're pretty good considering who our drummer is.
Exactly. So I really wanted to see you guys go out on the road and get a thirst for it again. Did you feel that you were in a good space when all of this went down? And
I thought the tour went great. I thought we played
yeah,
really well every night. The rest of it is like just being on the road and having to deal with Janine yelling at us all day long. But I thought the shows were really, really good. So
yeah,
we
because you
both
got to
felt like
enjoy it.
huh?
You have to
When they
enjoy it now.
canceled it in San Diego, me and Ryan, I think, both felt the same way. Like our mission had not been completed. Like,
Hmm.
but make them wait, right? Make them wait till October because that was an act of God, and we were supposed to get paid for those gigs anyways, but they rescheduled them.
Well,
I
good.
don't
Let's
know
hope
how we,
everyone.
I don't know how we come out ahead on that one at all.
No,
We
but I
were
hope you
already
do.
there. Now we got to fly back and stuff. That costs money.
So, for old fans of the band, Dave, you're at a point now where when what inspired you to do what you've been doing for so long now, it's kind of changed, and it's really weird to ask this question now because it's like everything has changed. But
Mhm.
for us as fans of the band, it was like you were the upstart kind of outsiders who made it big, and no one made it bigger in the 90s. And you know that's why we love the band, but that reason for us changes, and it must change for you too. So after all these years, really, was what went through your mind? How do you have to approach getting the band back together, doing another album, and going out on the road with what we all know now and love as Soul Asylum?
Well, I mean, I'm probably the biggest fan of the band, and to me, the band gets better. And if that had not happened, it probably would have ended a long time ago. But when Michael came on board, Michael came from a different kind of school. Like we were like, oh, we're a punk rock band and we're a
Hmm.
gang and we're dudes that didn't know what we were doing when we started out and we learned how to play together. Michael came in and said, you know what, Dave, everybody is replaceable. And that was
Hmm.
a whole new perspective for me. And now I got this guy. We got a great band. I mean,
Hmm.
we have a really fantastic organization that's very limited to a very strong and small amount of people, so that it's
Hmm.
almost kind of somewhere between when we started out and we locked in,
Yeah.
and we're not carrying on with 30 people on the road. We can pretty much do the same job that 30 people can do with, man, what are we, eight,
Yeah.
five, six, seven? We're seven. Four
So
people in the
speaking of which,
band, three other people. That's all we need.
speaking of which, is it the album cover or the covers that come up when the songs come up are a bird's nest with an egg in it? Is that was that your idea, or where does the art come from for what's going on with the
Shameless
album?
promotion. Do you mean this one?
That one,
Pick
see,
it
that's
up. This one, is
beautiful.
this the one you're
12-inch
talking about?
version.
Hurry up and wait.
That's
Uh,
awesome. You got 12-inch vinyl.
yeah, and there was I believe it's a robin's nest, and then I took a egg out of the refrigerator because I like the color. So it's actually a chicken egg in a robin's nest. And Janine took the picture, and there's a painting of mine behind it, and it came together relatively effortlessly thanks to Janine. And it does have a bit of a patina that reminds me of things that I like, which is also the Grave Dancers Union album cover and the cover of my
Mhm.
book. It's that sepia tone kind of thing. Like, oh, is it black and white? Is it colored? But the
Yeah.
color of the egg is pretty accurate. I just saw it in the fridge and I was like, wow, I love the color of that egg. And I
That's
don't like
perfect.
orange at all, but that's not orange. It's more of a
Brown,
peach,
yeah, peach, yeah.
brownish peaches.
So can
Peaches.
I distract from the new album for a while and talk about your book? Because that hasn't been out long. Talk a bit about that if people haven't heard. Going back to all your old lyrics and writing around that. What was that process like for you?
Well, it was haunting and it was kind of hilarious because when I look back at how I just sort of was trying to figure everything out myself, there's no blueprint for being a songwriter in a punk rock band. And thank goodness
Right.
for that, right? You know?
Yeah.
Um, so I was learning how to do it as I went along. And that was the part that was interesting to me, was to go back and go, wow, I can see myself developing. I don't know if I'd call it a skill, maybe a curse, but you know. So I got better or worse at it depending on who is listening. But yeah, it was
Well,
traumatic at times because it does take me back to the emotional place where I was, and I
right.
know what I'm writing about. But I was 20,
Right.
so getting back in that 20-year-old's head, it's surreal, kind of.
Well, and you
But
called
it's
the
all the
book
same
Loud.
guy.
Yeah, right. You called the book Loud Fast Words, which was a reference to the first band last. And you come from the punk rock background, so it was always loud, it was always fast, and sometimes maybe Guy, I don't know if anyone told you, we didn't always understand the lyrics, and we didn't care. So when then you sit down with a lyrics book where the lyrics are just there, that's a totally different experience. And I wondered how you were like, well, I didn't mean that to be like read like this was a projection of some other emotion.
There was only one song, possibly two, but really only one, where Janine was like, what are you singing in this song? And it's called The Snake. And we listened to it over and over and over again. And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just screaming bloody murder. I can't. I can sort of
Right,
remember what I was singing about, but you can't make out a single word. And there's a few numbers like that back in the day where I'm just screaming bloody murder. I knew what I was screaming about back then, but if I
right.
listen to it now, it's as hard for me to interpret as it is for just about anyone. That's just
So
rage.
did you have to? I know. Did you have to make up words then to put in the book?
Now, I think that
No, just skip
what
that
do the
one.
lyrics say for the snake? They say, I can't decipher any of these words. That's kind of what it says.
You drew a snake.
Well, we'll
Oh, I drew a picture
yeah,
of a snake.
yeah. We've got to wrap it up. We want one more song, but it's funny going from the book to the album. People have been reviewing it. It's been getting good reviews, and people have been saying more introspective than your past work. David, would that be fair?
Yeah, that'd be fair. I mean, it's probably more honest than I should probably ever be. But there's not a lot of, there's just not a lot of overthinking. And it's pretty, and, Michael Bland encouraged me to go in that direction. He just said, go with your instincts. I don't care what kind of music it sounds like. Just bring good songs into the studio, which is kind of funny when it comes from Michael Bland. I was like,
Right.
oh, he didn't care if it sounded like, disco or heavy metal or whatever. He's like, just
Right.
bring in the good ones. So in that way, it was very effortless kind of a situation where I didn't really overthink anything, which does kind of lend itself to a little bit of rawness, a little
Yeah.
nakedness, a little introspectiveness, whatever you want to call it.
And I guess I would be remiss without asking, speaking of introspection, how are you dealing with this? I mean, how are you doing? All jokes aside, because this is a really strange place we're in right now, Dave.
Well, uh, Ryan has a nuclear family, which must be different. I have a roommate who's Kirk Johnson from Run Westy Run.
Oh yeah,
Try being holed up with that guy for 3 weeks. I mean, it's really something else. But we're jamming out. He's playing drums now, and he's getting really good at it. So that part of it has been positive.
good.
I mean, I worry about, but like the people that were in my crew, they all had to file for
Yep,
unemployment because no bands. They work for other bands when we're not on the
yep,
road. So that
yep,
part of it is a little painful, and
yep,
my brother's kids not being able to hug my mother. I mean, that's a bit of a heartbreaker. But
yep.
I believe that it will happen soon enough. And I've
Yes,
heard so many like conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other thing. And now people are protesting the whole. Now people are getting very suspect about what's really going on here. So I
yeah.
think we'll all be hugging each other pretty soon. I'm not French kissing Ryan though. It's gross.
All
I
right.
tried it. It's
It's a
disgusting.
true story.
Let's keep defiantly optimistic, guys. It's great to see you literally, and congratulations on the album and the book, Dave. And I hope you
Thanks, Mark.
guys get back on the road and enjoy it. And thanks, Ryan, for helping this guy keep on rocking because we need him to do it. So let's get one more song from the old days. What are you going to play for us?
What are we gonna play? Close to the
Closer to the
stars.
Stars, maybe?
Oh yes. Oh yeah, and yeah, there's a documentary about First Avenue, and
Yeah.
it's called Closer to the Stars, and it was made by a very, very, very dear friend of mine. He actually directed our Black Gold video. We went to high school together. Anyways, he called me up and he said, "Is it okay if I use the title of the
Nice.
song for the movie?" And I was like, I was actually really flattered. And
Well,
then
it
he
works
couldn't like
beautifully because,
find the right he couldn't make the right phone call to find the right publisher or whatever. And I
oh,
gave him my personal word and permission to use the song. Anyways, it goes like this. Caterpillar crawling up the big phone pole. Is there somebody that you want to talk How is this going to affect you? Do you think it might wreck you? Your friends might reject you, say you took it too far. Say you want to be, you want to be, you want to be, you want to be. Well, I don't go sick pictures and drugs I've never seen. Should teach you with advice from a fashion magazine. One day she just walked into that magazine. I wonder if she'll ever come back. They all said she would crack. Said her mind was one track. Say she took it too far. Say you want to be, you want to be, you want to be, you want to be. We're closer to the stars. Every time you move your lips, let me give you a few tips. Yesterday you were too young. Tomorrow you will be too old to regret all the things you've done. You trying to hustle. Somebody you wanna show your muscle. Second-hand excuses never went too far. What's this scene you're making? Your ideas have been taken. Sick when you awaken, alone in someone's car. You stood there shaking, stood there shaking. And they said you were faking. Said you want to be, you want to be, you want to be, you want to be closer to the stars. Closer to the stars.
Dave Pirner, Ryan Smith of Soul Asylum, live from a basement in Minneapolis on the Currents Facebook page. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mark. You have a good weekend too, man.
Cheers.